All right, man. So as we mentioned earlier, I had the wonderful opportunity to go and travel to Oklahoma this past week, and I got a few other dates on my lineup to do some performances and things like that. I know how I got those opportunities, but I want to hear from you. What are some of the best methods, some of the best practices to put into place to assemble a tour of some sort or a series of performances? Because one of the biggest things that an artist needs to do, that I believe, is to, in order to become a real quality performer, you got to get your reps in and practice as much as you can, not just in front of the mirror, but in front of people, because it's completely different when you get in front of people. Yeah. So what are some of the recommendations that you might have for an artist to create their own opportunities to go around and perform? And not even if they might not even be able to travel around, but even if they need to do it in their own city, and that probably was a nugget right there, but creating their own opportunities in their city. What are some of the thoughts that come to your mind when you think about artists kind of putting together their own tour, for lack of a better term?
Yeah, so I think about that my mind is always digital.
Okay.
But you do need to have, two things go together: your relationships within the community. That still has value, even though you can go faster with digital. You can't really replace a personal touch. That's why we still part of the week we still meet in person.
Yeah.
Even though technically, we could just come in here for an hour every week and just shoot the podcast and then go home. But there's a value in being together. So relationship building, being intentional about the relationships you build. Like if you know somebody with the venue, like we were saying in previous videos about being the first to comment on somebody's Instagram post or whatever social media post they have, and you're trying to gain favor with influencers. Kind of the same thing. It's somebody with a platform or equity in something, and you need to stand out in a way that doesn't say, I'm here to take from you. Okay. I'm here to see what I can get from you. It's what can I add to you?
Okay.
So if you're an artist who has somebody in their community with a great restaurant and they get to have live music, are you the person that's really being friendly with the owner of the restaurant, or the bar? Are you the person that brings in more people to their restaurant?
Yeah.
You tell everybody. You give them a great review, not just, this is a great restaurant, go eat here.
Yeah,
you give them the most wonderful review you could ever think of online. And then you upload a video to your Instagram and your Facebook and your Rumble and your YouTube, and you're like, you guys, this is the best experience I've ever had in my life. You need to come here, you need to do this, you need to do that.
Yeah.
And the owner is going to be paying attention to you. You are on the radar now.
Yeah.
You have gained the favor because you were sincere, and you're adding value to them. So when it comes to building those relationships in your community, you're still doing the work. You still have to go out and do the work. There's no shortcut for doing the work, but there's a different way you can approach that than simply trying to say this guy has this, so I want to see how I can take from them. You should change your mind to how can I give to them and form a relationship with them. Yeah. And then the flip side of it, the online side would be targeted ads within Facebook and YouTube and Google and any ad platform, really. I just mention those all the time because that's what we do mostly. But seriously, people, and we've said this before, you need to diversify where you are on social media. Diversify your social medias, because you don't know what can happen on any of them. Not to say any of them are going out of business overnight, but when you run ads, as long as we've been running them for as many people, just wild stuff happens where they just cut off somebody's account for no reason, and you got to go figure out why they cut off your account and all this stuff. And sometimes it just might be a mistake on their end. Yeah. So, that's a side note, which we can get into on a future episode. Yeah. But, localizing your ads, doing local ads on Facebook and Instagram and all that stuff. So instead of targeting all the U.S., once you find an ad that really hits on, let's say you're doing ads for United States and United Kingdom, Canada, and Australia, Netherlands.
Yeah.
You find an ad that does really well. Now you're saying, all right, I got a show coming up in 2 months or 1 month. You just take that ad that's doing really well and you just serve it locally. And then you have a good follow-up system. You have either you can try to get them to follow you on social media, but a better way to funnel people in is try to get them to sign up for an email list or get on your website somehow so you can pixel them better than just saying anybody who visited my profile. Like you want the people to visit your website so they get used to interacting with you in a more personal way.
Yeah.
Like you want them to come to the show, you need to get them on your platform first, which is your website.
Yeah.
So you can sell your tickets through your website, and that would be one of the ways to pixel the people in your local area.
Yeah.
And then I mean, jazz up your online, like how you're presenting the show too. Instead of just saying like, I got a show coming up. Let's say you're an R&B artist. You turn that into date night. So it would be, I have flowers and I have chocolate and all this stuff. Like this is going to be date night for my show, and bring out your loved one and come to this night. And you know, it's going to be all about you guys and give a great show for you. Be able to brag, to say, I took my wife here, to like all this stuff. So that's another way, that's another marketing spin you put on, hey, I have this show versus I have this night for you guys.
Yeah. I think something also really cool to do is maybe take some of the content you've captured from your other performances, if you've had any past performances, take some of those highlight moments and kind of put them together on one video. And even if you might have some people vouching for you or some testimonials from some of these venue managers and coordinators to include in that video, and kind of send it out to some of the people that you might want to do business with or come at their venue or building and perform at. I think that really goes a long way because they can kind of see you have credibility and allow you some opportunities.
Yeah. The social proof.
Yeah.
So just like you have on your website or any good checkout page will have is some social proof saying that here's what some other people said about this, or here's where you can go find more reviews. It's just a way of presenting that review so that they're not cold when they're bringing you on to their restaurant or their venue. They get to see you in the past performances. They get to see the crowd reaction. They get to see how many people you brought in to the venue, so you can prove that you can bring people in to them, and they're not the ones that are doing all the marketing to bring in the customers. So, yeah, it's a great idea.
That's what's up, man.